Let's bring in Bridget Ziegler, Director of the Leadership Institute's School Board Programs, and Nicholas Giordano, Campus Reform Higher Education Fellow. Thank you both for coming on. We appreciate this. I mean, you kind of look at these numbers and you can see Baltimore schools are trying to put some lipstick on this thing here, Bridget, because the numbers are terrible. I mean, they can say, oh, well, we didn't put all the numbers in there. But the bottom line is you have 13 high schools where not a single student passed math proficiency. And then you have people like Jason Rodriguez, Deputy Director of People Empowered by the Struggle, that says, quote, this is educational homicide. There is no excuse. We have a system that's just running rogue, and it starts at the top. And Bridget, he is right.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And the sad part is that we see story after story like this. So whatever lipstick they want to put on this pig, it doesn't matter what area we find in the country. We see a lot of this, and it's underscoring, it's almost talking points to support how valuable school choice is. But unfortunately, there are human beings, children, at the end of these data points, and they're being robbed, where at the same time us as taxpayers are funding this. And as was noted as your lead up, this is not a new problem for the Baltimore area. And the part that needs to happen is the accountability for the decision makers. Taxpayers fund, whether you have children in school or not. We all benefit from an educated populace. And clearly the numbers, doesn't matter how they spin it, is not coming out to benefit the children and certainly the future of those communities and our country.
That's what I say all the time. We do these kinds of stories here, Nicholas, and you always say, these are kids we're talking about, and you have kids that not one of them, no state public schools have shown improvement in reading in the entire state, and you think something's wrong.
Well, our education system has collapsed. I mean, student proficiency levels are at their all-time lows. Baltimore spends $22,000 per student per year. And same thing, New York State. We spend $26,000 per student per year, and we perform twice below the national average. They've redefined what proficiency means. Rather than fix the problem, they've redefined it in order to meet the new normal of what they called it. And at Campus Reform, we've been reporting how it's bleeding into the higher education system as well. You have 60% of students entering two-year schools that have to take remedial courses for information they should have learned in high school, and 40% entering four-year schools.
Yeah.
No other industry would we accept these results.
No other. You're exactly right. Not a single other industry. They would be shut down and bankrupt. Gavin Newsom, meantime, Bridget, vetoed a bill that would require parents to affirm their child's gender. Here's a mom who lost custody of her child in California. Watch.
Now the concept of parenting is to say yes to your child for just about everything. And so if you say no, all of a sudden you're unsafe. And if you don't agree with a child's self-identification as something other than their biological sex, then somehow you're contributing to their suicide.
But the governor vetoing this bill, a lot of the smart people, Bridget, are saying these parents groups, these moms groups are starting to resonate, and that is part and parcel of why this happened.
I couldn't agree more. Listen, this is a huge win for the parental rights movement, for the amazing activists across the country, but certainly in California, which is the tipping point, as we've talked about before, what we look at across this country. But make no mistake, this is a win. We should celebrate it. But having been working with parents in California for the last couple years, there's a lot of work to be done. This is exactly why the Leadership Institute, we are doing a tour in California to help provide those resources so that we don't relent yet. We got to put our foot to the pedal and keep fighting back and make sure moms and dads and concerned citizens, whether you have a parent or whether you're a parent or just a concerned citizen, have the ability to fight back and get rid of these egregious policies. It's a win for parental rights, but we can't stop yet.
Nicholas, your final thoughts on this, about 20 seconds.
Well, I think the veto was part of the shadow presidential campaign, but it shows the power that parents have. If parents step up and they speak out, they get results. And that's why they need to get more involved within the education system.
Yeah, it's really incredible. Nicholas, Bridget, thank you both, as always.